welcome to my print crowd training. Today we're going to talk about the product library. The product library is what we use to set up products that are going to show out here on the retail store. If we go ahead and we click into one of these products, what you'll see currently right now is I have basically business cards, single set, and I have business cards, multi-set backs. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add another third product over here to the category, okay? And we're also going to show it as a category. These are subcategories. If we relate these back here into the MIS system where we set them up, if I click on my product library, what I'm looking at is currently I have a subset called business cards. So when I was out here on my main page, I had a category called business cards. When I click on that category, I have subcategories called single set and multi-set backs. If I come here to my MIS into the product library, you'll also see I have the same thing. I have some other subsets in here, but I don't have them being displayed. And what keeps them from being displayed is if we highlight this next one, the 85 by 55, and you say edit the category, you'll see that it's not published. I'm going to edit that category, and I'm actually going to change that and say I want to publish it to the web store. But while we're in here, I'm going to show you a couple other things. One of the things we can do is, this is where the thumbnail comes from. This is where we set up our category name, so that's what's going to display. And then this is going to be what product or what parent category it's going to fall in as a subcategory. This is going to be our sort order. We're going to say that we want to list all these products as thumbnails suitable for printing and template products, rather than list the products as a grid list, suitable for off-the-shelf products. What we've also done is we've selected a template. I said I want to link it to a template design, my category. I want to link it to the UK region. I want to link it to stock layouts, which has a bunch of templates associated with it. I could also link it to my print cloud templates, or I can link it to what we will call private customer templates, which means I can create my own templates and actually display them onto the web store, so I can have my own library of my own creative products. So right now we're going to stick with the stock layouts. What we've done is we've picked this category, the 85 by 55 two sides, and you can see that it's a 1:1 factor. We're not zooming in at all. And what we have here is you can see that it is a little bit oversized because we've added 10mm in for the bleed. So that's going to be the size of our canvas or our template to be able to work with. What I'm going to do is I'm going to save this. And the next thing I'm going to do is, now you can see that's blue. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come out here and I'm going to highlight this product. I'm going to highlight this category. I'm going to highlight this product that's in this category, and I'm going to edit it because it's not published. Right now what I'm going to do is talk a little bit about this as we go through it, because if you added a product, you would go through and you would have to fill in this information that we're going to go through on the next 4 or 5 pages. So currently I have this set to a retail/private store template library and use the thumbnail. 99.9% of our customers use this. There's also a product banner or page banner, but it just displays a lot nicer in the in using the template thumbnails. We also have a parent category that we can link it to. So I've made that category up, and that's what we're linking it to. And then we can have a sort order. So I might have 2 business cards in there. One might be 4 collar, one might be 2 back, 2 spot collar, and that would be product 2, or however I would want to sort them in the category, how I want them to display or show up. I'm going to say I want to publish this on the website. I'm going to make it a feature product. I'm going to make it an enabled product. And you can have an enabled product but not put it on your website. And the reason you might do that, it might be something that you don't want them to design, you want them to call, you want to go through the specifications, you want to send them some artwork. It's something you're going to do, but you don't want it to be a product out that's on your retail page. So right now I can give it a product code, and I'm also going to give it an estimated production time so that when people come in to order, they know when to expect it. If I go next, this is giving us our policy, images and stuff and what they need to be. They can look at that. We've also have a grid layout. So this is what this gives them is a file, a blank PDF that they can use Adobe Illustrator, and they can bring images in on it stuff, but it is just that size of what we need. It's going to have the 55 by 85 as a live area. It's going to have 10mm around it, as an area where they can't put product in, where they're going to bleed off into, that type of thing. But it's set up for them to take it, design their own product, and upload it. So you can have that also. I want to click on to next. If I have here no printed or signatures required, I can click on that. The reason we have that, and I'll go back here just a few screens real quick, you can actually have a finished good product. So requires no template or no printing settings, and you can put a thumbnail out there, and that would be for things if you're going to sell, let's say, a business card holder. Maybe you're going to sell brochures to somebody and they're going to need a brochure display, you know, shelving, that type of stuff. And if you sell that stuff, you can also have it on your retail store for sale. But again, there would be no printing bound to that, so you would want to check it as a finished good product and no printing settings. When I click on next, I'm going to come in here and we're going to go to next. We've been through this. We were here. What we're going to do is we're going to pick out the stock that we would most likely print these business cards on. You know, the majority of our business cards are going to go out white every board, 330 GSM. That's the reason why I have that stock identified. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to show you how this is set up. Behind the scenes, what we want to do, and this will in no way keep you from selling on the retail store, but eventually what you want to do is set this up so that as you start using the MIS, this information is now set up behind when somebody places an order and you want to create a job ticket for this order. It'll come in, it'll tell them which press you've designated to run that on. Not that you can't move it to another press inside the system, but it's going to default to a press, so it would pick that press and put it in there. It's also going to use that paper. We also have the press sheet size we're going to use. We have the page size we're going to use, so our item size. We have whether the stock is supplied, and we can have custom design sizes, so you don't need to stick to the sizes just in the system. If it's something really odd, you know, you're selling stickers or 1 by 1 or, you know, 10 millimeters by 10 millimeters, that type of thing, you can have custom sizes set up. Are you going to print them work and turn, or are they going to print work and tumble? If you come in here, you can see it says 10, or number up is going to be 10, and if I view my plan, what I'm going to see is how that's going to run on my sheet. So that just gives me a real good idea of how this is going to show up on my sheet. When I come back here and I take a look at this, I can also see that I've set it up for 4-color. So if I want, I can actually come in and there'll be ink set up for this, and I've set the black up just a little bit higher than when I've set up the other 4 colors or the 3 colors as far as the process colors. And again, you can default these to different ones. So what we're going to do is we're going to click OK on that. We have whether we have a first trim or a second trim, and that's based on, I might buy a larger sheet. Maybe I'm buying an SRA3 and cutting it down to an SRA4. Then we also have to trim the business cards out after we're done printing the sheet. And what for guillotine am I going to use? And again, these are things you're going to set up in the MIS. The press, the stock, and the guillotine will all be set up in basically the settings in the MIS system. One of the things to let you know is your paper. We actually have a file that you can download, an Excel file, an ASCII file actually, and you can download stuff into that, and what you'll do is we can import it into the system, so you don't need to go in and key in all your stocks and stuff like that. So if you can get them out of your existing system or from your paper manufacturer, we can actually load them in. Again, this is pretty self-explanatory. If you were doing something like a 16-page brochure at 4 of them each, you could put one in and say there's going to be 3 more like this or 4 like this. Clicking OK, I'm going to move on to the next page. And this is where I'm coming in, and I can add multiple papers in. If I do, I'll have multiple lists of papers across here, and I can price them all different, because obviously when you display on the web store, there might be more expensive or less expensive papers that you can print business cards on, and the pricing would change. We also have different pricing ranges. This is a fixed, basically fixed quantity. 100 cards is $15. I can also come in here and say, well, from 0 to 50, you know, the cards are, you know, $10. From 50 to 100, they're going to be so much, you know. I mean, you can set them up, and you can set them up as a per each price or that type of thing. The other thing I want you to notice is If I come back here, you can see I have a 10% discount, and I have applied this to a couple quantities. When we go out to the web store, we'll see this. And the reason we're doing this is we want to show that our preferred quantities of print are 500 and 1500. Maybe it's the way we blend them up on a card with other cards, that type of thing, but that's the reason we picked these quantities, and we're going to give a discount to them. If I click on next, this is if I have any outside suppliers. I can have two different suppliers, two different price tables. I can generate a purchase order, upon somebody placing an order for this for the supplier. I can say if the quantity is greater than a certain quantity, it would go to the second supplier. Then I want to route it to the second supplier. So basically my first supplier might be 2-day delivery. And for a quantity of 500, the second supplier might be, he's going to be for 3 or 4 day delivery, but he does all the quantities above 500, that type of things. And the system would then suggest which supplier you should use. And again, you can build their price tables in here. If I go next, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about this. This is giving us our information that's going to show out on the web store. When we go out and add this product, we'll look at it and I'll show you where this information comes in. This is any kind of marketing tips, that type of stuff. This is more ideas and a product video. We can actually record videos for you to be able to show to your customer. This is internal descriptions we're going to use on the job, and you can add these. You can build a library of them that you're going to use. You can add them when you're doing the estimate and save them actually to the library. So they're very easy to add. Some people like to build them in so they're already there. Some people like when they build the job, they're going to add them at that point. So it's a matter of preference. What we're going to do is, this is additional cost centers. Why would you want additional cost centers? Maybe what we're going to do is it's a brochure we're printing, but we're going to have to 3-hole drill it for somebody, and that might be an option for them to select, and then it'll give them a price per 1,000 for 3-hole drilling. It could be these business cards get laminated, and there's a price per 1,000 for laminating them. These are upsell or other products that we can put. So when they go out to the shopping cart page, we're going to suggest for business cards, maybe you want to suggest letterhead and envelopes. Maybe you want to do a desk calendar, postcards, greeting cards, anything you want to suggest that they might want to buy as far as products. If I go ahead at this point and I click finish, I've enabled these products. If I now come back to my web store, if we come back to the main screen and we look at it now, we can come in and we can click on business cards, and you see now that I have 3 subcategories. Okay, this is single set, this is multi-set. My image back here, when you click on it, it does not, it's just showing this image. So if you clicked on this image, you can see that that single set is built in my image file. I did not build in my image file. I'd have to edit my image file and say it's business card 85 by 55, 4-color, that type of thing. But that's how you would get that to display out here, as far as the white text and stuff showing up in here. But you can see all this just different information and how you add categories and things like that. If I click on this, I now come in, you can see I brought up all these design templates from stock layouts. That allows me to choose either by industry or just different things, that type of stuff. Great, this is a furniture company, I can see that. This is just a different type of card. This would be a card for a veterinarian or adoption shelter, that type of thing. So this is an antique mall. This is a natural health spa. So an architecture's card, because of the square letters and that type of things. Just different cards you might look at and what they suggest you use them for, that type of thing. So just very easy for you, art gallery, that type of thing. I talked a little bit about the pricing. You can see this is where our discount shows up. This is what the price would be, but if you take 500 cards today, this is going to be your discount. So again, just very easy to affect how you want to show things. This is giving us our information, specifications and things like that that are showing. This is giving us tips. You can read more on it, that type of thing. All the things that you put in there are going to display out here on the web store at some point. So editing the text and changing it is all in your control underneath for all your products. I'm going to move back here to the main screen again. We're going to come back into the MIS and we're going to talk about one thing. I'm going to scroll down. I now have a category, a subcategory, and then products underneath that. If I come down here and I look at booklets, if I drop this down, you'll take notice that I have A4, A5, and A6. If I click on the A4 booklets, I have a 16 page, a 4 page, an A4, 8 page, and they're all basically 4 color. If I scroll down, eventually I run in and I made 2 color, A16 or A4 16 page 2 color. Now I could have had just A4 booklets, and I could have set 2 subcategories underneath that by just coming in and highlighting this and saying I want to add a new category, and I could have broke it out into A4 4 color, CMYK, and I could have had a category called A4 2back2. So preference on how you want to do it. The more you break it out into categories, the more people have to drill into the website, and sometimes that's a little bit of annoying. You can see when we display it out here, there's nothing really any major displaying your categories across the top here. There's room underneath them, so it's very easy to use the the category and the subcategory to get your products in there, unless you have a huge amount of things that you want to try and differentiate in. Then you might want to set them up in subcategories again. Anyway, this concludes our video, and any questions, email us at support@myprintcloud.com, and we'll reply back to you. Thank you.